Welcome, guys. Freaking Sunday. Not much happening, by the way, through the weekend. Quite quiet for the last past weeks. So nothing major changing yet. We are at the resistance, first step of the resistance. There's still much more to deal with it. And I'm not sure even if I'm going to reach my targets, what I've been aiming for, before we're going to do the bigger move. But there are things that I want to cover because it looks like we might see some potential bigger moves, right? Sooner or later. But we are cooking. And the market's gonna show that in kind of way and that we don't expect it to look at it. So moving on, first thing what I want to touch about it is like people are always looking at 1 hour on low time frame. I rather not to do that. And I always don't look at low time frame just because it doesn't give you the overall overview of the sentiment of the market, right? This can catch you off guard quite quickly because what I always look at it is on the daily wise. So for me, this, oh, if this will load, Mhm. Lovely. Daily, please work. Yes. So for me, we had this first touch over here. That was the top of this resistance area that we've been at aiming at quite for a long time, right? We came down from that quite heavily, and now technically, if you zoom out, we are doing exact the same structure, right? This is the sideways freaking grind. We have this one uptrend move higher up. We did regain that, but this whole block over here that I'm being aiming 77-ish area, this whole block of daily resistance, we still didn't reach that. But we did had the first hatch. But then on the daily, we are still over heavily long. Right? We did touch, but we didn't cross. We didn't flip this. So for me, and this is a sign, we're gonna do one more potential move into this bigger resistance pocket, and that's gonna be this afterwards. This is what I'm aiming. Why? On top of that, moving into the bids and order placements, they are heavy to the upside where we came from, but there's not much to the downside. Yes, we have this one big block, but that's in 75. Going from here to 75 straight up potentially might break it even, right? Because there's quite a lot of stuff that we can deal with it to going to the downside, right? Structure wise. But then we've been aiming at a high. We got rejected from it. We are still holding on the lows. Now, but the build-ups are quite heavy, right? If we get there, like even regaining 71, that start to get into this area. That means that push can easily get us in the highs and even regaining that. And then we start to get at 75. Now that start to get close into the 77-ish or even front run it, right? So potentially, yes, one way it can get into my areas, but somehow they struggling with it, and that's not only thing because the dollar start to show the strength as well. So if you're gonna move into the VIX, like we had this big uptrend move into the 34-ish area, right? So that was quite perfect. We've been talking about it, right? Into this pocket. Next area that we aim is 37. We didn't lose anything. We didn't fail. This is still parabolic going upwards, no matter what. So potentially, yeah, we can have a pullback, but that doesn't change anything. The market still can go higher. And after that, if you're going to have a bigger movement on VIX, that's your collapse, right? That's just the thoughts that I'm having and the kind of the gut feeling about the market and how it tends to perform right now. It's something that used to look out for it, right? Don't go blindly in things and don't think we're gonna go back at 124-ish K because that's not even happening. I'm not even thinking about 90Ks or 80Ks. 77-ish is the area of the first resistance, right? That's what we're aiming for. But to getting there, yeah, potentially we could have a pullback into this pocket and grind a little bit more for sideways and do one more, right? If we're gonna break this whole part up move, then yeah, that's could happening. But so far, this is still uptrending. Right? Don't get me wrong, this is still going higher. no matter what. We need to break at least the 21, and then the high time frame is 17. That's still been pushing upwards since then. It didn't come close even to break anything to the lows. Now, speaking about the big elephant in the room, Dixie had a regain of its resistance. This whole move that we've been looking at it last week with this sell off, like suddenly, like tell me this is not even fucking one bit of manipulation, but no matter what, we did close up on above 99. That means above this whole structure. Every single thing over here doesn't matter anymore. Ah. Now, funny thing is, we got into the $100 area that we've been rejecting quite heavily, right? And surprise, surprise, that's done. That shit is done. And regaining that, shit might go down because now you're getting into the bigger stuff that took from May. That's resistance from May. So that resistance from 101, it kept us all the way here for 259 days. That's something to think about it, right? And what's going on in the market right now, we start to change character, right? Instead of pushing this down, this is the first big regain of the market from the lows. That means you regain this, you could potentially come even here or here. I'm not sure. I'm not even aiming we're gonna get into this 97 for the biggest stuff. If not, we're not gonna go and continuously going up from here. Right? So remember, dollar goes up, market goes down. Like that's not no brainer. Right? You don't want the strength into the dollars. Yeah, apparently this is happening. We did just kill one of the biggest, uh, one of the biggest structure of resistance that we had. Right now, this candle close, it did kill all of that. Now we just need to deal with 101. If we regain that, like I've been mentioning, that we're gonna aim for 108. Like coming here, done. Why? Because we still technically like highest time frame, like this is downtrending at all. But if the dollar gonna grow in 10% in strength, that's bear market stuff for us, for the market. But yeah, sooner or later we're gonna get there. And I think, to be honest with you, we could be there a little bit more sooner than October. Let's see. I don't want to predict the timings of that because that's kind of a bullshit thing to do for me in my perspective. But let's see. But we are getting close to that. Same thing. We are closer to the bear market than to the new all-time high, right? I hope people realize that. So market-wise, the full crypto market, we are still at the resistance, right? We have this level over here. That's the 728 that we struggling with reclaiming it. That whole sell-off, that level, it's quite heavily, right? So getting back at 752, I'm struggling to think that we're gonna even get there, right? If that's gonna be the pullback, we still could do a pullback into this level and then start to grind slowly into it and do one more potentially, and that could bring us a little bit over 77-ish area, or maybe into that area even. But yeah, this still could play out if we're not gonna regain it now. But then, not even close of thinking we're gonna regain this resistance. So, that said, I'm gonna move quickly to MDX. Right, if the daily, where is it going? If we're gonna reach that daily high of resistance over here, this will still continue, right? When the longs start to pile in, same thing what happened over here on this high top, right? That's the area where we could potentially do one more. That one more is gonna be the bear market stuff. That's my kind of way of thinking and analyzing the whole market. But yeah, still range into the resistance. If we start to break that or getting into the lows of it, then we're gonna aim for 700-ish for the pullback, right? If we start to squeeze this out, that's yeah, potentially aim. Um, Gold, even gold struggles, right? We did break the lows from that particular swing failure over here. We didn't reclaim that, so we're still aiming to get lower, right? So there is still no strength into that. And we're starting to get into the cash flow negative. Last time we've been there, that was October 2025. That was this whole move. But we still was breaking the lows of it, right? So potentially, yeah, we kind of doing the same thing, a little bit more extended. So yeah, another thing to look at it, right? If gold start to reverse, there we have it. No even thinking of the market going higher. Silver, I'm not really bothered with silver that much, but it's still sideways and technically failing the previous low. So yeah, structure wise, it could go even lower. So not something that I'm looking at it. Now, second important thing is that dominance start to increase. Do we want dominance to increase? Technically, no. We don't want that. Why? Because if the dominance start to increase, that's only Bitcoin wise. So that means one more move, but the odds gonna be destroyed, right? We want it to go down for any potential bigger moves on any particular coins. But this still looks like we're gonna aim for the resistance again, right? We did fail on the low, but we did regain it. So now, if we're not gonna regain this high, potentially we're gonna stay in this whole range. But the high likely it's gonna be regain of this structure and get the high of this resistance, but still keeping us quite heavily into this range. So there's a lot of things going on, right? It's not something that's noisy or something. It's just how you look at the market, right? In which way you want the market technically to go. If you're gonna go with the trend or you're gonna go against. Now, all of this hard to pile. And we're gonna do one more move, most likely, and that's gonna be. Right? That's what I'm aiming for. Why? As well, this. Right? My whole daily overview market. So we did regain with this whole move over here. We regained this structure. We are still not close to this resistance. That resistance is the daily resistance. Coming back at that, we are kind of like, if you look at a daily, that this is so weak. This whole daily uptrend is so weak structure, right? Can we do one more big move? Like, I, t- uh, I'm, I'm not sure, right? It doesn't look like this looks weak to me. If one fake close of the daily, that's gonna be the collapse of it. That's more looking like going by candle wise only. But then still, it's quite heavily kept up by the bulls. Now we have a flip of the capital flow index. That means large caps are quite high. Alts are low and stable as well. So this potentially could grind even for longer of the time higher up into this resistance. But if that's gonna be happening, we're gonna see the flip of stables and large caps. And if that's gonna be around 75-ish, 76-ish, then there we have it. Not much gonna hold us because if I'm gonna touch the structure later on Bitcoin, there's not much of structure to hold below us. All right, so we are building it up for a bigger move. That means we're gonna do one more, and that's gonna be somewhere in between the 74-ish and 77-ish area. As close as we're gonna get at the resistance, that's it, in my opinion. I would like to be surprised to regain that stuff to get even close at the 90K. So far, I'm not even aiming for that. Why? Oscillator wise, like the harmony and on chain are quite heavily overheated. Right? Any kind of bigger move, any liquidation grab, any close of a failure, you're gonna see a reversal sign. Same thing, capital flow, cash flow, still negative, quite heavily as well. Trend, we didn't even try to come close to change the trend of the October 25. we are quite heavily of the oscillation trend. So yeah, every single thing points for me. We're gonna do one more, and that's it, right? That whole liquidity grab, that's gonna be quite the same what we did over here, right? That build up over here as well. Like, look at that. It was as well weak on the daily time frames. And one more, done. So yeah, I like to see the pattern of the market and how it rhymes. It's not always gonna copy itself quite accurate, but most likely it will rhyme. Now we do see a small change in capital flow. That said, X is going lower into the neutral line. Silver same. You see USDT picking up, but the Dixie and VIX are quite heavily. Now that's something that you don't want to see for your market, right? If that's going to be heavy, then every single thing correlated to that, that's going to go down. Now, there is a kind of like a light in the tunnel because if VIX and DXY is quite high and that start to retrace, you're going to see potential movement of the market. Or which one going to pick up, then that's what's going to show you over here. Right? If that's going to be the NASDAQ, that's going to be SPX, or that's going to be even the crypto, or that's going to be the commodities, right? So yeah, let's see. That's going to be super interesting week for sure. How we're going to start it up and how we're going to deal with it. But I'm kind of still in the feeling that we're going to do that one more into the 75-ish area. And that's it. There is not much for us to even think about for higher up because we still downtrending. We didn't go higher than the previous capital flow momentum that we had. We are not close to that. So yeah, structure wise, still potentially going lower. Now let's move on and see how we looking like on the from the Bitcoin perspective. So this is just a small bounce. Nothing special yet. Why? Because the month is still not closed. We still have 2.5 months, weeks to go. Sorry, right? So this is not gonna change anything. Weekly wise, same thing. It's not gonna change anything. Yes, one big candle is fine, but you look back, like every single positive weekly after the dump, right? Over here as well, it was a full pullback lower. That this was heavily. Right? We did regain all of that stuff on the weekly, and then you just dump it from it. So nothing said on the highest time frames yet. Now, like I've been saying, daily wise, all of this shenanigans what we have, that sell off over here, that's as well heavy. That's one thing. And I'm surprised even that we are continuing because that should even send us lower because that was heavy. Now, and that's more on the spot wise, what's happening. So if we're gonna flip to 72.7, that should be not the issue because that's been already tested. Right? That area of resistance over here should be the case. But that said, it's still around 10% we need to deal with. Right? Do we have the pace to do 10% with this kind of structure? That's quite stagnated. I'm not sure yet, right? If we're going to do the pullback into the 67-ish support that I'm aiming, that's the only support that's valid and it's still keeping us. Yes, that potentially could bring us higher up if we're going to do that, right? And to fail from it eventually. But yeah, that's the only case. No matter that, remember, if we're going to break 65.9 this low, nothing else going to hold us. All of this shit, it's been done. So next aim is going to be 58. Breaking only that on the highest time frame means daily. There's nothing else that's going to hold you, right? Every single thing been tested. All of this been tested, all of this been tested, and all of this been tested. You're not holding any structural wicks. Now 4 hour-ish, you still have like small potential relief bounce when we're going to get back at 63. But that's all. And then you still have to fill up the 60K. You're getting close in 59-ish. That's the That was the low, monthly low, I guess, from here. What was it? Yeah, that. But that's been tested as well. That monthly low, right? So that's nothing special to hold us when we're gonna get there. But there is something significant to close anything below that. Means there is the bear market, right? So please keep that in mind. And as well, like yeah, we could do one more just because of the oscillations, right? We starting to cool off. Daily wise, still heavy, but we don't see any reversal signs yet on it, and we are not even close to divergence on it. So yeah, something to think about it. Yeah, we could deal with that, right? So technically, this it's been already tested, but it played out. Like I want to mention as well the swing failures, right? This is a perfect swing failure, 101, but that's a 1 hour, not 4 hour. I forgot to change that. That's a 1 hour swing failure. So yeah, perfect to the T. But that's been done. But that 4 hour close, yeah, we pull back on it. I'm surprised that we're starting to regain it, but now we need to get back at 74. That means fill up this week and then start to get and on the side retesting of 50, 74.9. That means the first hip that failed from this whole movement. Then you're gonna start to get at the resistance at 76. Now my aim is, and I would like to see that. Not sure if you're gonna get there, but 77.7. Right, this whole middle structure, because that was heavily broken twice. Right, that's the resistance that you need to regain to even potentially think we're gonna get above 79. So that's my aim, to short the shit out of it or start to ladder into the shorts. So far, there is not much that's holding us to get there. Right, there's a lot of orders placed to push us higher. That's fine, but then that's the last thing. That's gonna be the last one, right? If we're not gonna settle any structure besides this, what we're having. So yeah, gonna be something really interesting to look out for next week. And I'm not sure if there is any PMP job openings for that's April, May. People are thinking like October. That's still 199 days price act, and we are already that weak. But okay, let's see. It's something to keep an eye on it. So indicator wise, yeah, see, so that's as well the swing failure of 1 hour over here. What we had is as well the quite heavily order block. So yeah, that's one. We have a small one below us, and then the rest is quite lower at 65. So potentially we could deal with that right now if we've been already once into that pocket, and then starting to get into that. Not something heavily, but then you open up for this area. This area is blank. There's nothing over here. So to deal with that, that's gonna be something as well interesting to look at. But yeah, overall, next one, liquidations. That was a liquidation grab as well. We start to stack. There is 20 axis and 10 axis heavily to the downside. Not much of 100 ones and quite a lot of gaps. So still kind of struggling and nothing significant catching off the market to step in on the heavy bids. So the upside is not that heavy, but even around the 77-ish, like there are quite heavy gaps. So coming into that, like that tends to be for a really long period of grinding, right? To farm out all of the liquidity to grab eventually. We could go for ages sideways, like we saw it from last year in December at 4 months or so, or even longer, almost. So yeah, let's see how we're gonna be dealing with that, right? But it's still coming back at 69 could be potentially a nice bounce just because there are some open levels below us, but still holding the price. That's all of the dailies, and a little bit more below you have that 69 gap of high time frame leverage, and then that block of potential orders as well. So yeah, there is quite a lot of things. But my major block is still below because that's been untested since we came back from that one. That's the only support that's holding us, right? Coming close to that one, fine, but that starts to get weaker as well. So it's a it's an interesting one where we're gonna head up. So far, yeah, we tend to go higher. That's fine. Let's see if we're gonna regain the 74 4-ish. Interesting. That's for sure. Yeah. Like I said, there is not much below us. This even can go away. This all of that is not valid anymore. This is the only one that's holding us. Potentially, like this is as well something that most people like forget about it. Maybe we are how to signify a squeeze. If that's gonna be the squeeze, then yeah, we're gonna deal with it like that. Breaking up, right? And do that freaking fake out, please. Because here, yeah, there is one block over here, but there is nothing. Empty. This been skipped. To fill this, you need at least a couple months of grind into that structure. Fill that. All orders, liquidity wise and whatsoever. Get even close to fucking 90 or whatsoever people are thinking. So far, I was quite heavily thinking that we're gonna get quite quickly into the 77. But so far we are struggling. It's a small pace. But by looking at the capital flow, that's no brainer, right? If all of the money is in the side, there's nothing in the market. Market is down. Both of the markets, like three of them even. All of them are down quite heavily. So here's the money. If this not start to flip, we're still gonna be going lower. So high time frame shit. It's like I'm not looking at this that much because it's still nothing compared to we dealing with weekly. This gives you some opium, right? I guess. But over here, if you look at the monthly ones, like we are down. Dixie just spiked higher up. That means we are not even close to the neutral line. The Nasdaq and S&P are getting close to the neutral line. VIX is high. Silver and gold is high. Where is the money? Here and a little bit here. And this start to go higher up. So the Dixie start to grow more and more. What does that mean? If Dixie goes up, market goes down. That's easy as you want to explain it that. Because there is no change at all in it on the high time frame. So that means the monthly one. So yeah. Is that not gonna change? Nothing to think about it. And to be honest with you, this gonna change after the bear market. Last time we've been here, so let's say around minus 40, right? In here, this area, 2022. Now, we're about you guys. Where is 2022? But that's this area. All of this stuff. What's the beginning of the bear market? Definitely. So what did we do after that? Capital flow comes always first. So 2000 January 2000, yeah, so 2003 and December, that was the flip. That green red line over here, sorry, right? That's the flip. So where was it? Yeah, that's the flip. You didn't see that on the chart. That's the beauty of it, right? You don't see that on the chart. You do see it on the capital flow. The spike of the market. So Bitcoin raise from the ashes over here. This whole line. I know it's shitty to watch or to see or whatsoever. You get used to it. So right, flat, flat, and then before that candle formed, Bitcoin was over here as well. So there you have it. Where are we? still into the flat, minus 40. Can we go lower? Fuck yeah. But yeah, that's how I look at it. And not seeing it changing it for a while. Maybe are not people looking for it. Maybe people maybe are hoping that we're gonna do biggest move and everything gonna skyrocket so much. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, definitely, right? Daily close as well in 6 hours. So yeah, potentially we could go higher up, and then are we gonna pulling back the whole week into the area of 68 or any support? Grind it out. Do one more. Could be. But yeah, holding only on this, it's sketchy. Sketchy as fuck. Been in for long enough. This as well. That's why I don't look at this in 1 hour, 15 minutes or whatsoever. That's such a bullshit. That's such a noise given information what you have. No matter if it play out or something. This should be only on a freaking high time frame. That matters. Because this gives you the overview what's going on in the market and where are the retailers placed. That's still longing. We did technically merge once, but we didn't hold on that. We flipped that heavily. And now we are still back where we've been through all of this. That means longs are still in play. So no matter how heavily they're gonna freaking long this and push this higher, that will eventually reverse. We're gonna wipe those, and then gonna have one of those ones. Ta-dang. So yeah, stepwise life. I'm always saying stepwise. Step by freaking step. How do you do that? One, two, three. Oh yeah. I think that's all on Bitcoin. Let's have a look on different kitties, right? Something that we might find interesting. Hype and blasting. That one is amazing performing. Really amazing. It does have a failure. With a slightly regain of structure, that's fine, but it does still fail on the on the resistance. So all of this, it did create a high. That's fine. So the anything what you really want on hype right now, if we start to break, I'm not sure. You want to go back as low as 35 and then continue over here to blast higher. You don't want to get back at this. That's the only thing. And that's the only thing that's going to bring you even in this structure. I still need to map it out. I'm surprised that it went that heavily and straight into that one. So yeah, but it's still at the resistance. But it's good. Good one. It's regained. It's quite heavily. And believe me, if you see this, boy oh boy, that's a freaking regain of the low, right? That whole freaking badass candle. We have one indecision one, and then the second one follow up. Nice, perfect. Do the freaking T. And this is amazing weekly performance, like one after another one. Right, this is 71% from the lows. Right, you had a pullback of 37, and now what you're doing is another 56% movement. Perfect. This is amazing, amazing performance. So yeah, lovely to see it. But yeah, we have some reversal signs coming in. Right, that's one. That's we are at the resistance. We did regain it fully, so no problem with that. It could pull back. Like I say, even in this area, you don't want to get back at the lows. Like that will be not necessary at all for it. Well, it's great, super great, and I'm fucking happy that I got back at 20 with my spot backs. So yeah, that's one. Now moving on, injective. We see some trend change coming in on the oscillator because we had that nicely pulled back into the previous low. So yeah, this is as well freaking stupid fib. Eyeballing it. Yeah, see. fucking perfect. So yeah, this still could potentially go higher, and technically it needs, just because we need to get back at 30 and 3.22 ish area for regain of the daily. I just want to regain this whole stuff. We've been once at it with a small sell-off, so not much for the regain. The second time we're gonna get close to 3.22 this area, we potentially regaining the stuff. And from my perspective view, if we're gonna do that and we're gonna deal with something like this, we have a V bottom recovery on injective, and that's gonna blast. Yep, waiting for that. So yeah, I would like to hold that. I want to injective come close or below even $3 right now. Then that entry what I had is going to be golden. Now AVEX. AVEX been dealing with the resistance, and we technically killed it. So really good move. Nice sell-off from resistance like expected. We did come close into the support, and that's as well freaking eyeballing it. Stupid if I'm not going to draw it. And then you're holding it up perfectly on the double test on 9.49. And now you just need to reclaim back 9.9 or even coming close at the high. So that one is really, really good. Even the daily had a sell-off of it. It did fucking regain everything. All of this stuff been regained. Done. And now, peacefully, if you want, you can even pulling it back at 8.8 for a bigger move. Yep. Easily. Perfect. I love that. I really like that. Because now, nothing's going to hold us. This, it's done. It's been dealt with. Now, what's next? It's a small one. $11 before we're gonna get at the biggest stuff at 12. One pit stop over here. Gonna map it up later. But this is done. All of this is done. That's not gonna hold us, especially with this week. So yeah, awesome. Love it. Solana. Solana have a little bit rough time. Same, it's exact same structure as Bitcoin, right? You have that major support that you're holding, that grind up, and you have a sell off from the high that you've been already testing it. So that's a quite heavily resistance as well. Get there, I need to be a really big push and close anything above that. So far, you not only what you did, you fell from the low, from the highs. You structure wise, you broke your previous supports. You still holding on this small one. Now you grind it up all the way to the highs, and you fail from it quite significant and to the T. If you're not gonna regain that, the only thing what you're gonna get is going back at the lows. Yeah. You need to regain that. Especially that flip of 88.6. That red line you regained. Yeah, gonna be interesting. But to be honest with you, I'm gonna be happy to get some more of Solana below for cheaper. Now, Render went fucking ballistic. I love it. I really love it. Unfortunately, I closed my long on it. So, like, somewhere over here, I close it out. Rarely I do it. And when I do it, it's fucking blasting off. But, like always, we getting in the first major resistance. This is it. That block over here was the major resistance, right? We did technically kill this with this whole move. That was the first one. Now the second one is here. Why? Because that's the area that we failed from, right? After regain, we had a failure and we never come back from it. So now, to the T. That red line is the high of the wick. So this is fucking to the T. But we had a sell-off, we went lower, we broke the stop, and we regained that quite significant as well. This is still uptrending continuation. And we are diverging as hell, right? Because the oscillation is already cooling off and the price going higher. Now, That's one of the heaviest and the strength formation that you can have. Why? Because if the oscillations start to cool off, but the price start to grind higher, what do you think gonna happen if you're gonna see this? So yeah, render's gonna be fucking going ballistic again. Love it. Love to see it. So yeah. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Love to see it. There's different tokens. Any potential? It's still sideways. Still sideways. Okay, now. Yeah, that's not gonna be regained soon. Did a failure. Mm. Anyhow, all right. Cool, cool. Let's have a look. If you guys want something to me, look at it. BNB. Mm. We have a bot on BNB, by the way. Fucking hell, look at that. This is amazing. Like, area where you come back from. Yeah. You swing failing. Like, this is high in time, right? This is fucking monthly, right? Look at that. Bang on. Fuck me. Perfect. Reclaim. So, technically, it's quite the same structure what you're having here. Right? The only thing what you need right now, back, at least into the lows, and then you can blast it off. Now, this looks a little bit more differently and a bit better than Bitcoin. Not only we are still above this whole freaking high that you already regain, right? Even if you had a sell-off, this is no brainer, right? This could go even higher up, come back into the mid area, and blast it into your freaking resistance 761. Yeah, easily. I like the structure. 4 hour, same thing. Previous high, previous low, you regain that heavily. You're still keeping up with it. You didn't fail from it. You still keeping up higher on the price. Let me guess. Yeah, see, they start to reverse. You had a hit one twice, trend change. Not much on liquidity, but yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Take my words back. Quite a lot. Quite a lot. Look at that. This whole dump what we had here, they had still time to fucking fill it the order box. This is quite thick. If we gonna, if you're gonna have that on Bitcoin, like that's beauty. Either you're pulling back and you fucking regain all of that. That's set. You get at the first resistance already. You have the touch of the resistance. You can pull back and grind it out again for the continuation. This stuff is great. But hey, apparently you need to have fully freaking manipulation going on your chain to do that, because this is all automated. This is not something that normal price action does, right? You all guys know how BNB works and why they're doing that. But yeah, still great stuff on BNB, by the way. Like, yeah, zoom out on it. Most likely what you're gonna come back at is 636, if and only if you aim for lower. Then I would rather to aim for 6223. Yeah, those two pockets. Perfect. And even then, like, you're not sure about it. There you have it. Like, eyeballing it was fucking to the T. 634. Bang on. Yeah, this stuff is wonderful. It's hard to trade it manually. You need to go low leverage and spread your freaking orders quite heavily because it's really hard to catch it. That's why BNB it's built different. It's not even built to trade it manually. But yeah, have a try, have a look. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, compare that to this. Like, even you had that stop of you had some freaking stops in between the thumbs. Like it's nothing thin. So not much of liquidity for us. Hmm. Something else interesting. Ooh, almost there, guys. Almost there. I hope you are filling up your crow bags. We're about to take off. soon. Oh, I saw. This is funny. I saw Stu posting about it. Like this is hilarious, right? this is like this is as well, like guys. Understand this, right? All of this shit is still going down, right? This is gonna fucking continue going down. What they do is, I will give you some hopium. We push this token so hard that people gonna long the shit out of it, just for us to fucking nuke it off the cliff. Why? Because on the daily, we still did. Oh, this line is even wrong. It should be here. We still didn't even regain shit. Like, yeah, you regain all of this fucking shenanigans, right? But then the high time frame is still this resistance. The next step is gonna be this. Fuck me. And I hope Stu is shorting the shit out of. Oh yeah, he is. Fuck yeah. Oh, that's a beauty failure. That's a beautiful failure. Twice they wrecked them. Like one? Oh, no one. Once more? Never mind. And this? Yep, that's no brainer. Fuck me. That's really like we're talking about pump and dump scams, right? Now, believe me, your president is the biggest scammer of all with this whole shenanigans. Hey, uh, mm, fact, is still alive? Mm, okay, starting to regain. Anyhow, do you guys have anything for me to look at it, or for yourself if you want to see something? Here is something. Any maybe indicators wise? Any questions are welcome. Funny that people are here so quiet on my stream, but on the other ones, asking questions left and right. Quiet. How are the bots doing? I have some bots here. Which one is this? Oh, this is my test room. Okay, let's have a look on the test room. So, oh yeah, gold is fucking hell. What? Jesus, this is random. That's a nice drop of gold. Silver, same thing. Yeah, good one. Apple. Ooh, I have mine. This is my testing area, but Apple did a really freaking nice trade. First one was 4%, and now we are in the second one, 2%. Nice. Jupiter is a little bit more sideways. Earth. I got wrecked. Okay. Objective. And a long. Near. Short. But it got stopped out, I guess. Okay, okay. Working on. Okay, I cannot show that. Anyhow, please, I want to show what is the good price. You want to short. Why sec? That shit is already done, right? Like, why? So, first question, if I might ask, why bothering with this high price, and with this token at all? To be honest with you, I'm not sure if this is gonna be failure. This makes me confused. So, what do we have? Low, high, regain that, and you need to fail this. Yeah. Potentially, if you want to short, then this could be the area, but it's already been gone, and you are shorting into this because that did technically regain the whole structure. So you are looking for a squeeze, what it's gonna make. It's gonna do something like one of those ones, and then the bigger move. If you want to have a bigger short, something significant, then you're looking for this. Make it a little bit more easier. Why? Because this shit is still in a continuation to the downside. Only thing is a 4-hour regain and this whole range. This is your resistance. So make it much more easier. You're looking at, let's go 1 hour. 1 hour is gonna be the high. Fuck, I don't have the 1 hour, no matter what. This is the high, and then you're looking to break at least below this. So you see this, right? Come back into this area. So you want to aim for something like this, failure, failure, and then do that over here. Because this, right now on 1 hour, right, people overlook, is building up to do that. Is there any liquidity? Hmm. Yeah. Oh, quicker. Dang. Perfect. You couldn't get it better. Overlapping ones. 3 even. Fucking hell. Nice. There we have it. To the T. Bang, bang, bang. Seems more volatile and will fail further. Yeah, there are more volatile tokens than this bullshit. It used to be volatile. So it used to be, right? This used to be volatile. And then you have those big moves. Now, if you think about it, you got from 58 to 60, and now you're just having 44. So what you can have is maybe another 50-ish if you are lucky. And then you start to get at this whole range formation, what you still could build up over here, right? So you're gonna do this constantly, or it's gonna be dead. So, but it used to be volatile. Mhm. And don't forget, daily wise, you broke structure. So yeah, potentially this is the aim. 245 for it. Regain that. Could potentially get back at this resistance over here that's been already tested, and if not, then this is it. Or you're gonna do on the side retest of any kind. Well, so far, same, 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 same. Quite nice structure-wise. Someone is doing really good job for this whole formation. Oh yeah. mm, there is like if you look at the cake, I guess. Yeah, yeah. If you look at volatility, like cake just did 70% from from the lows. But yeah, it's technically actually the same structure we're having over here. So let's see how this gonna be dealing with. I don't expect cake fucking moon from it. That's gonna be crazy. But yeah, that's some shenanigans going on with it. Dropping that hard into the lows. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, Gucci Gucci so far. Let's see. I would like to come close to 75, 77-ish area. Yeah, to regain all of that. Shenanigans. Or we're gonna do really, really freaking longer time this and then one more sweep. Done. Oh yeah. 77? Yeah. That's my aim. That's my aim for now. We are stacking, right? We are look at that. From the start we've been talking about it, right? Yeah. Stepping in. This whole pocket, but it's been eating up already. Right? That's 1 hour time frame. Getting over it, like easily it could send us higher if we get through that. And nice. Nice start. I think it's gonna be another in this kind of potential move, right? Higher up, regain, get in the highs. Get another volatile Sunday close, Monday open ish. Nice. Yep. Would be interesting, definitely. I would love that. I'm liking that. And here as well, for like this stuff as well. Like I if you guys want to see some volatile tokens and kind of money maker banking on it, every single low on per breaking, right? If you break previous low, right, just buy that. The same thing. And you do like 40, 50, 70, sometimes 30, but then definitely even 1x potential movements. Yeah. Yeah, as well. Like if you even bother like to put some like on spot wise, right? I'm not saying anything on leverage on this one. But like yeah, at least on this structure, right? If you bank it on it, 1x. And then a new low from potential this hold, right? 80-ish, now 50%. Easy. You want to play around with low caps? There it is. And please, 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 please do it only on hyperliquid with per, because most of those wicks are not existing on hyper. They are on the fucking gate on the maxi because they are low on volume and they cannot sustain the volatility on it and the price. So that's why do it on hyperliquid if you want it. Yeah, nice play around. If you're bored. Oh, yeah. I think I'm gonna bounce. Gonna enjoy my Sunday, relax a little bit, and get recover from the last couple days of drinking. Jesus Christ, that sounds so sad. Question for you. If earlier, why? So my way of trading, no matter the time frame right now, I need to see potential get into this pocket. My stop loss definitely is gonna be somewhere around this area, right? So what I'm gonna do is, definitely that's gonna be the plan for me, is to make it as tight as possible. So no matter where the price is gonna be, I'm gonna start laddering in to the position to get as tight as possible my stop loss. And then the first ever break of that, I'm even going extra heavy on it. And that's my move. It's not like, I don't understand your way of thinking. Like, why would I go early? Like, this is my target. I know my invalidation was gonna be for all of this price to even going higher up. That's my invalidation, that whole wick. Because if you regain this whole body, you're done. The short, it's not played anymore, and you're gonna aim for higher up, eventually with a small pullback. But then, yeah, that's the whole area. I'm gonna start to ladder in from this area over here. If I'm gonna see any break of structure on definitely 1 hour or whatsoever. So something else, this. If the price, let's say this is gonna be the 77 area, right? This is your first place into it. I start to ladder into that when I see this. So this break is already first sign, and then you just start to buy anything you come close into those pockets. That's it. Then you can reload even. Easy structure. Easy strategy that I'm teaching as well on the mentoring. So yeah, nothing else. There is no need. Like the stupid and crazy thing is to buy already this or here and having you stop loss here. That's the stupidest thing ever. Because that's not a strategy. You just like homing into it, gambling it out, and hoping for the best. Yeah, but 76 is not something significant. This is just the first 4 hour swing failure that we technically it's not even 4 hour swing failure. I just marked it. So technically that shouldn't be here. But that's just the high that you technically need to regain to get even in 77, right? But yeah, like I would not rather to like really lathering all of this shit and then having you stop loss over here and then hope for the best. You need to see some break, right? So that means price comes in, right, like that, and then you start to do something like this, right? Start to break stuff and fail to the downside whatsoever. That's your sign. Easy structure, nothing else. There's nothing like FOMOing in or whatsoever. It's always easy structure. Price action structure comes first, always. Oil. Uh, yeah, I've been seeing that as well, and I've been pushing it quite heavily, but still, like yeah, it got pushed really really heavily by. I mean, not much. It's still changing. You broke the structure, so yeah. Even if you're gonna come back at, I'm not sure if you're gonna get there, but at least something like that. That's crazy because there is nothing even to hold on it. Like I would rather to be as close as possible to here to have a bigger failure from it. Because that's filling up this week and even closing above 115. It's done. It's still continuing higher. Uh, and that shit been tested already. Very, very fucking shit. You want this. This you want. Right? If that's the wig, this is the wig what we are doing right now over here, and you want this. This was the, this is the freaking failure. What you want. Where is it? I mean, I cannot even find it here. This is the failure that you want. This is the structure wise. High, low, break, failure, and then you freaking grind the shit out of it into the previous high. What is? So oil gonna be quite expensive for next couple months. Then you're gonna have a major failure. Same thing over here. Yeah. Jesus, look at that. Who is here in the house? Brahmi. Let's bring you over here. Mate. Been a while. Been a while. But yeah, I mentioned hype. Yep. Waiting for higher up. Still continuing. I'm not shorting it. I was short over here, but I got stopped out in break. No, was that one or this one? I don't remember what. This one. That was the short that I've been here. That one. That break of structure over here. I got stopped out in break even, so no bother. So yeah. Really, really good price action on hype. Where could we go higher? I need to map out those levels. Still didn't bother. That one been tested. Yeah, everything's been tested. That's the whole idea about hype. It sucks, but that's been tested. This is tested. Only thing could hold us this before we're gonna reach the 74. Yeah, so we will grind into this and then do one more. That's been tested. So next one is 32. Here we come. My backs are freaking happy about that. So yeah, I think that's all for me. There are no questions anymore. Everybody's happy. Happy, happy dandy. And cool. Like I've been saying, keep an eye on the order blocks as well. That's a good one. Right? Those order flows are quite nice to see. And as well, like if you if you really, really want to look at a long and short ratio, only time frame is the daily. You shouldn't care about anything less than that. Because all of this shit is give you only noise. Right? Like looking at this one 1 hour, it's for me like weird. Nothing sustainable at all. But yeah, it's at least like it gives you the good direction, but yeah, I rather to keep it on the daily. And if you're gonna do this, then here it really sucks that those levels never stay in it. This is their place to get it. To get it one more time. So yeah. There it is. I'm gonna stop my recording. Thank you very much. Appreciate you all. Have a good weekly open. I will see you Wednesday. Bye bye.